Hello friends, this week I really just want to slow down and just take you guys along for a regular week in my life. Let's not get crazy with any themes or challenges, no plot, only vibes. I have some arcs that I want to read. I am currently rereading my favorite romance series of all time, my favorite author, T. Kingfisher. This girlie has range. She writes incredible horror, she writes incredible like middle grade cozy fantasy, and she writes good romance. If you haven't read the Saint of Steel series, you're missing out. You're missing out. Read this. So we're gonna reread this today because I have the fourth book that just came out in the mail, on its way to me, so hopefully it'll come in time. We're just going to have a nice, cozy, chill time. So it's currently Friday night. Dan is on his way to come pick me up. We are going to the jazz club tonight. I have not been to a jazz club since I lived in New Orleans, and I'm just so excited to go back and hang out in one. So that'll be really nice, and then we'll meet up with his friends at a bar afterwards and get a little drinky and hang out with them. But otherwise, I'm trying to have a very slow weekend, a very slow week. I just want to do my little 9 to 5, read my silly little books, cook some silly little dinners, and we'll just have a nice cozy time. So let me tell you about how I'm feeling about Paladin's Grace, and then we'll go to the jazz club together. How fun. I am begging you guys to read this series. We have a perfumer, Grace. She does have a little bit of like the, oh, I'm just like a little mousy girl, and why would anyone pay attention to me? And that does get a little bit annoying. But you know what? We've all been there. We've all been insecure at one point in our lives. And she's this perfumer and she's really fantastic at what she does. And I feel like T. Kingfisher does an incredible job about putting her main characters' professions into her books. And we just get to hear so much of what makes Grace so good at being a perfumer. We have an incredible animal companion in here. There's a little civet cat, and he's a little weasel, and he is so freaking adorable, and I love him, and his name is Tab. And then of course we have the Paladin, whose name is Steven. So the premise of this book series is it's the Saint of Steel series. So there's this group of people, this order in this world. This is the same world as Swordheart. This is the same world as the Clockwork Boy. It's called like the world of the White Rat, and it is my favorite world to be in, truthfully. So there's this order called the Saint of Steel. There is a saint, there's this group of paladins, they're like berserker paladins. So when they're like God calls on them, they become fighting machines, and their whole thing is that they are able to distinguish between who's innocent and who's not. Do the fighting to protect the people who need to be protected. This book series, we're following a different paladin in every series, and the whole thing that is like their backstory is that their saint has died, their God dies, and it is really traumatizing and awful for them. There's so many layers to this book, trying to explain it to you guys. When Steven and Grace, our two main characters, meet, Grace is running away from these people, and she basically like throws herself onto Steven, and in order to get away from these people, they pretend to be performing an act in an alleyway that's a little bit spicy. It's just such a hilarious first meeting, and it is so good. The world building in here is incredible. The relationship between the two of them, I love. The audiobooks, these are fantastic if you're an audiobook girly. I don't know what's in these pages, but I absolutely love it. Side note, my copy is not the best put together. These are independently published, so I believe I got this one off of Amazon. It might have come from Barnes & Noble, but I definitely had to order it online, and my pages are just not in there all that well. So I have been reading this primarily on audiobook because it is tough to read physically. This is the only one in the series that I have physically, but the new one apparently is in hardcover. So hopefully that'll be bound a little bit better. Anyways, I'm having a really fun time. I'm just giggling the whole way through. I love it so much. There is this kind of like through line that runs through the first 2 books at least that has to do with like there's severed heads showing up in the city. I call this a cozy fantasy, and there is so much violence in it, but you have to read it, you guys. It is cozy, I promise. Sully wants his pet, so I have to go pet him before he keeps yelling at me. All I have to say is this book has it all. Let's go to the jazz club. The The jazz club was so much fun. It was everything that I wanted it to be and more. It did make me miss New Orleans so much, and I think Dan and I are gonna try to take a trip there in the next couple of months. So I really hope that that ends up happening. I hope we can make it work because being back at that jazz club just brought back all the New Orleans memories, and I want to get back there. Also, it is so cold in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. Like, I really feel like I am in Minnesota. Last night I was like, you know, wearing a nice dress and heels, and I had on a fashion coat, okay? It wasn't the warmest thing I could have chosen, but it was what went with the dress, and that's what I wore, and I was absolutely freezing my toes off. It was like 18 degrees outside, so now I'm just like trying to live in sweatshirts. This is Dan's, I stole it, but you know what? Why have a boyfriend if you're not gonna steal their clothes? It's big and comfy and it smells like him, and I will not apologize. Speaking of Dan, he's gonna make me dinner tonight, so I'm about to go head over to his house. But before I do, I have a very important question for you guys, and that is, what candy are we using to motivate ourselves right now? Because this week, I had some very monotonous, boring tasks I needed to get done for work, and they had to get done, and there was no one else who could do them but me. And I needed some motivation, and I wanted those like Nerds gummy clusters. That's what I wanted. I wanted something that was like a big enough piece of candy that I could like motivate myself for a long enough period of time. But they didn't have any at the store, and so I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll get Mike and Ike's. But all they had were these. And I have to be honest, I really don't like any of these flavors. And I thought I might not like them, so I got Reese's Pieces too, but these are too small. These are not enough motivation. So I need to know. Let me know in the comments what candy we're using to motivate ourselves in our big girl jobs. Thank you very much. I've continued reading this, and I continue to enjoy reading this. We're now in this trial situation. We have some characters that we know from Swordheart. If you guys have read Swordheart, Zale, the lawyer from the White Rat, is in here. And Sarkis is mentioned, and Hala is also mentioned. And I really loved that little nod to this lovely little book. I don't know what to tell you, but I love a man being a protector in a not weird way. I feel like overprotective men are so out, but the way that Stephen is protective of Grace, very hot, very nice, very comforting. There's just quite literally so much packed into these pages. We have an assassination attempt gone wrong. We have another assassination attempt that possibly will be successful. I'm not sure yet. I know I've read this before, but I've forgotten the plot points. I remember the feelings. We have someone being wrongfully accused of attempted assassination. There is a killer on the loose who may or may not be human. Spies, poisoners, loose civets, berserker rages. It's just, it's got it all. I'm gonna go have a nice dinner with Dan. I'll see y'all tomorrow. It is now Sunday night. I've had the most glorious weekend, having a much slower weekend than I typically do. I feel like my past couple of months have just been so busy with like friend social activities, doing things with Dan, doing things with my family when they came to visit. I'm so happy that I was able to take this weekend to go a little bit slower, especially because the next couple of weekends are gonna be crazy busy as well. I've got some travel coming up. I have someone coming to visit me. My 6-month anniversary is this weekend, which I'm really excited about. There's just a lot going on right now, and I was glad that I could kind of take this weekend a little bit slower. My friend and I went to Shake Shack today. Every time one of us is going through it, we go to Shake Shack. Like, both of us have cried in the Shake Shack. It's our safe place, and we like to go eat some chicken, share our woes with each other, and then we went and got donuts after and went and read in a coffee shop. It was such a lovely Sunday. I need to go make dinner, but before I do that, I want to chat to you about The Brides of High Hill, which is the thing that I have started reading. So this is actually an arc that I have. It comes out on May 7th, so I'm so happy to have gotten an early copy from NetGalley. Thank you so much. This is book 5 of the Singing Hills cycle, which is one of my favorite novella series of all time. It is such a lovely series in which each book has something different to say about storytelling. This book is quite short. It's less than 150 pages. I really am so sad to have to say this, but I don't think I'm liking it as much as I liked the other ones. I kind of feel like every other book is a huge win for me. Like, book 1 was good. I feel the same about book 1 of this series as I did about book 1 of the Murderbot series. I knew that I was gonna love the series as a whole, but book one wasn't like enough for me. I feel like a novella series is tough to do, really like come out swinging with book one. And I feel like I do kind of alternate in this series. So my favorite books were book two, which is When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain, and book four, which was Mammoths at the Gates. Don't get me wrong, I am still enjoying The Brides of High Hill, but it's a different flavor than the rest of them. It's feeling less heavy on the storytelling. It feels kind of like book three, where I feel like we are witnessing a historical event. And I'm sure we're gonna get some commentary on storytelling at one point, but right now it's just kind of feeling like a departure from the rest of the series, and I'm not loving it as much as I hoped I would. There's this kind of like weird, almost romance subplot to it with our cleric. And then there's also this kind of like mystery thrillery aspect to this as well. Our cleric, she's accompanying this young girl as she goes to marry this older guy. And she and this girl have kind of like this weird relationship. There seems to be a little bit of attraction on Chi's part. They are kind of like exploring this estate. There's this prince guy who's sleepwalking, walking around. There's something going on with him. And now we've just opened a trunk and found something horrifying. I'm definitely reading it faster than I've read any of the other books. It's a lot more plot forward. I definitely want to uncover this mystery and find out exactly what's going on here. There are definitely secrets to be uncovered, but the thing that I love about this series is the commentary on storytelling, and I'm not getting it as much in here. But it is super short, so I think I am gonna finish it tonight before I go to sleep, so I wanted to give you that update now. I am off to go make dinner. I think I'm gonna make some salmon and some asparagus. So I'm gonna go munch, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Good morning, friends. I did not finish the Singing Hells novella last night because I just wanted to read this, so I finished it. And it was, in fact, everything that I wanted it to be. I need to get dressed and go to work, but I wanted to update you while it's actually light out because I feel like every single time I update you, it's dark outside. It just gets dark so early. I'm really loving rereading this because you do get to see a fair amount of the characters that we're following in other books in the series. Just like getting to know Piper and Galen and Istvan before we see their stories has been really lovely. I love this series so much. I have decided that we are just gonna cruise our way through the entire series this week. This is what we're doing. All I want to do is read this series. So we're gonna try to get through all four of them. We'll see if that happens because that would be like reading a book a day, and I don't know if that's gonna be possible, but we are gonna do our best to try. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go drink my cup of tea. I feel like my goal for this week is to remember to actually drink water. I haven't really been taking care of my health in the way that I know I should be, and a huge part of what helps me and my heart is making sure that I have enough salt, enough electrolytes, and I haven't been doing a great job of that. So I asked my mother last night if she would, for my birthday, give me some electrolytes. These are my favorite ones. They're called LMNT. They're really expensive though, and they just work so well. And you get like a discount if you buy like 4 boxes of them. If you buy 3, you get 1 free. So it'll last me an entire year, all of those. I was gonna ask my mom for like a nice fancy perfume for my 25th birthday, but I guess part of turning 25 is understanding that you need electrolytes instead of perfume. So that's what's happening. Because I did this weekend have not a very nice time. My heart was doing a lot of weird things, and I need to take care of myself better. My fellow Pots girlies will know the feeling of just needing to down 3 teaspoons of sea salt because you're not doing so hot. It was very sweet and ate some salt with me, so shout out to him. I was eating a banana because I wanted some potassium. I thought that might help me. I was walking around being stressed, eating my banana, and he looked at me and he was like, go sit down. I'll throw away your banana peel for you. If that's not orange peel theory right there, I don't know what is. Okay, I gotta go to work. Let's have a good day. I'll see you guys after. Hello, I'm about to go to work. You're balanced on my counter. I have book. I think it is Paladin's Faith, so let's open it. I've never seen one of these in hardcover before. I have Paladin's Race in paperback. It's so pretty. Look at her. My goodness. Wow. That's a crispy spine. Oh my god, this is Marguerite's story? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I wonder how much of this Grace is gonna be in it then, because Marguerite was Grace's landlady. Ooh, the like cover is pretty. It feels interesting. Yay, I'm so excited to read this. Okay, I gotta go to work. I will see y'all later. I'm back, I'm home, and I'm making a cake in a mug because that's what I need tonight. So let's make that. I'll link the recipe in the description that I typically use. Okay, let's try this mug cake. It's very hot. I just had one of those days at work where I don't know, I feel like I blinked and it was 5:30 and I'm exhausted and I need some chocolate. So let's give it a go. It's a mug cake. It's not great, but it is what I need right now. I managed to listen to some of the second book in the Saint of Steel series, which is Paladin's Strength. I love this series for so many reasons. One of them is how unique each book is. I think the Paladins themselves are not super unique. Like, they all have their own little unique hobbies, but they're all kind of dealing with the same thing. They all know each other. They're all kind of present in all of the stories. And they're all these big paladin men. But our female main characters in the first two books, the first two are male-female relationships, and then the third one is a male-male romance, and I'm not actually sure what the fourth one is. Maybe we can find out now since we have this now. Okay, it looks like it is another male-female romance. I know that there are a couple of female paladins, and I'm waiting for T. Kingfisher to write a female-female romance. I think that would be incredible. Anyways, in the second book, our female main character is Clara, and Clara is kind of a nun, kind of not a nun. She's a lay sister of this like very specific order, and there's a big reveal about something to do with her order that I'm not going to spoil, but it is so interesting to try to figure it out. And I think if you think about it for more than like 10 seconds, you will understand what's going on, but it's not in the synopsis, and I don't want to spoil a good time for you, so I won't tell you, but it does make for such a fun read. Istvan has things that he's not telling Clara that we know about from book one, but that Clara doesn't know about. And Clara's got this past that we don't know about that she's keeping from Istvan. There is just so much thought put into every piece of this world, and we're meeting new peoples and learning about new customs. So well thought out and such a good time. And actually, I just read this part. There's a part with there's these creepy rabbits, and it reminds me so much of the creepy rabbits in What Moves the Dead. And I feel like reading that, I'm like, ooh, I can see where T. Kingfisher was like, ooh, I gotta make some scary rabbits in one of my horror books, because that part is so good, and you can tell that she like wanted to do that more, explore that further, and then got to do that through a different book that she wrote. Ooh, something else that I did is I bought myself a birthday present. We talked a lot about birthdays. I don't think I've ever told you when my birthday is. It's on February 8th, and Dan's is the day after mine, so that'll be really fun for us to do a little celebration together. As you guys know, I've been really loving perfume lately, and I just wanted to make myself a cute little perfume purchase. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm giving myself a budget of $100 to spend on a bottle of something. But in order to get to that point, there are a couple of things that I still want to smell, and it is Father Figure by Fleur, Sugar Leather, I don't remember who that's by. There's a couple of other like Mind Games ones that I want to try. I just tried Jadoub by Mind Games. This is like a pomegranate leather ambery scent, and it is so incredible. I love it so much. I absolutely love these bottles because they are little chess pieces. So what I decided to do today was get a couple of samples of things. Scentbird allows you to like buy your cue. So there were a couple of the Mind Games ones that I wanted to try, and it's kind of hard to get like samples and decants of these. And then I also ordered another sample of Thé Noir 29 by Le Labo. I think that's my favorite scent, but I tried it so early on and I loved it so much that I used up my entire sample. And so now I want to smell it again now that I've smelled a lot of other things and just confirm that is the thing that I want to buy. And then if that one is still my favorite, then I'm gonna give myself permission to buy the $99 like travel size from Le Labo. And if it isn't still my favorite, then I think it'll probably be one of the Mind Games ones. If it's Father Figure by Fleur, that one's inexpensive enough that I could buy myself a full-size bottle. But if it's one of these guys, then I think I may just stop spending any money on fragrance. I will cancel my Scentbird subscription and I will just save up all of my fun money for a couple of months, and then I will buy myself one of these actual full-size bottles. Okay, those are all my updates. I'm gonna eat my mug cake. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Happy Wednesday. I did not talk to you at all yesterday because some things have gone down. There were more gunshots on my street. If you saw last week's video, you know what's going on with that. These ones were on my street and the cops came and it was a whole thing and I didn't get a lot of sleep. And yesterday I was just kind of stressed and tired. So I didn't do anything yesterday, but today I was in the office and on my way home, I picked up stuff for dinner and I got some fun stuff for Dan and I because it's our anniversary, our 6-month anniversary this week. And we are gonna go to a cabin in the mountains. So that'll be really, really fun. So what we're gonna do for breakfast one of the days is I got some croissants. I need to get some marmalade still. And I got those frozen chocolate croissants that you like let rise overnight and then put out in the morning. That'll be really fun. I also got us some Prosecco for a little celebration. For tonight, I'm gonna make some fettuccine alfredo with some shrimpies. So I got all the bits and bobs to do that. These are really cool. These are croissant croutons, so we'll try those on our little Caesar salad. But Webster came with me to Trader Joe's, and that was, I hadn't brought him to Trader Joe's yet. It's just a hard grocery store to like train a service dog in because it's so crowded and there's so many people in there, but it was a rainy day today, and I thought maybe there would be less people there. It was still pretty crowded, but he did so well, and I'm so proud of him. Then we also went to Walgreens and got Sully's anxiety beds. So all the errands are done. I'm gonna make myself a quick snack because Dan is gonna come over after the gym and he probably won't be here until 7:38, depending on when he spars. I'm hungry now. I'm gonna make a little snack. While I'm doing that, I think I'm gonna finish Paladin Strength. I'm almost done, so I'll give you guys my final update then. I have finished reading Paladin Strength. This is quite a bit darker than Paladin's Grace is. There are a lot of things going on. There's a lot of death occurring. Maybe I need to rescind my statement that it's a cozy series. Definitely feels a lot less cozy than Paladin's Grace is. So if you're gonna read Paladin's Strength, just look up content warnings. I said this before, I'll say it again. I love how vast this world is that T. Kingfisher has created. I love how unique all of these cities are that we go to and all these different cultures, political structures and religions and species of animals and people. It's just such a well thought out and immersive world that I love reading about. The next book is Paladin's Hope, and I'm gonna see if we can cruise through this. It's Wednesday night right now. I don't think we're gonna be able to get through the entire series, but I will keep reading as much as is physically possible, and we will read as many of the books as we can because I really desperately want to at least start Paladin's Hope so that I can give you guys some insight on it before I head out. Okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I have two updates for you. Update number one, I think I'm mostly packed for our little trip this weekend. I definitely overpacked, but sometimes a girly wants options for what she wants to wear to dinner. Update number two is that I have finished reading Paladin's Hope. I think this one is quite a bit shorter than the other ones. I think it must be because I absolutely flew through this one. This is the only male romance in the series, and we're following Galen and the Lich Doctor Piper, who we met in book one, I believe. Yes, book one. Their relationship is lovely. I will say, having read read 3 of these books this week, I am now starting to get annoyed by the trope of I'm not good enough for this person, I'm gonna break things off because I think that I'm not good enough for them or that they don't want me. It's getting annoying. I hope it doesn't feature as strongly in the 4th book, which I'm very excited to start tonight. I still had a really good time with this one. I recommend this book to anyone who wishes that Saw were a romance. It is a romance that is set in an ancient death trap, and if that sounds like it would be exciting and fun to you, I encourage you to read this book. If that doesn't sound exciting and fun to you, I would skip this one because that is the central premise. That's all I have to say about Paladin's Hope. I'm gonna go over to my friend's house tonight. I am hoping that I'll be able to paint my nails while I'm there. I think she would be okay with me sitting on her floor and painting my nails. I will take you guys along with us. I am heading out, but before I go, we need to talk about the Singing Hills book, The Brides of High Hill. This book took a turn that I was not expecting, and it was incredible. The last time I spoke to you, I wasn't enjoying it a ton. I think this is my 3rd favorite. I think Mammoth at the Gates is my favorite, and then my 2nd favorite is the 2nd one, which is When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain, and this is the one that I like 3rd best. It's definitely a departure in tone. It is quite dark. I would say it does focus less on storytelling than the other ones do, but the way that it wrapped up and the way that it ended made a lot of sense, and I definitely understand the story that our author was trying to tell, and I thought it was incredibly clever the way that it was done. I did not see this reveal coming at all. That was incredible. I also just got a package, and it is Le Labo's Thé Noir 29, and I would like to try it with you guys because I think this is the one that I'm going to get myself for my birthday, but I just want to make sure that I still like it. So let's open this up. It's just, I'm a sucker for packaging. That's so cool. Okay, here it is. Even their samples are just beautifully packaged. The moment of truth. It is so good. This atomizer is not very good. Okay, I have the dupe of this, the Dossier dupe, and this is so much better. I don't know what it is about the Dossier dupe, but it smells so overpowering. It smells so much stronger, but then it lasts so much less. This feels muskier and more peppery. It just smells like dirt and I love it. Okay, I think I am gonna get myself a little travel size of this for my birthday. Stay tuned for more perfume journey. I'm sure I'll keep you guys updated. I'm gonna start reading this and then I'll go to my friend's house. I'll take you guys along with me. It's time for the final update. I am 60 pages-ish into Paladin's Faith, and I need to put this down. I have read too many of the Saint of Steel series this week, and I didn't think that that was possible, but I'm starting to get real sick of these paladins. Shane is the guy that we're following in here, and I'm sure he's gonna go on a little journey and he's gonna get more confident and he's gonna stop feeling so guilty about everything. But right now, he is the most annoying person I have ever read from, and I do not want to be in his head. And I think I just need to put this down for a week and pick it back up. So stay tuned for final thoughts on this. I'm really loving the way that Marguerite is showing up in this. I'm really loving getting to know Ren. She's the only female paladin that we've really spent a lot of time with, and I desperately want to hear her story one day as well. I'm still laughing out loud. This is such a funny series. Basically, what's happened is Marguerite has gone to Beartongue, who's the bishop of the White Rat, and asked her for help. Marguerite is a operative, she's a spy, and she needs help finding this artificer, and so Beartongue is giving her 2 paladins to kind of watch over her and protect her while she is on this clandestine mission, and I'm sure it's gonna be lovely and fun, and I can't wait to see Marguerite and Shane's story. But right now, Shane is super annoying. He just feels guilty about everything. They call him in this book apologetic furniture, and that is the vibe that he is giving, and I really just, I want him to trust himself and I want him to value himself more, and he's really annoying to read from right now. So those are my thoughts on this. I did accidentally read 60% of another book. I needed an audiobook. I don't have the audiobook for this. It's not out yet. So I was reading this physically and I've been doing a lot of things and I needed an audiobook, and then I accidentally read 60% of The Grip of It. This is a haunted house story and I've kind of been saving it for a rainy day and I really am enjoying it. We're following this couple as they buy this house. It's kind of feeling very September House in the opening. They are buying this house, they move in, and they hear this weird sound and things start to happen. Our female main character is starting to have bruises all over her. Our male main character is starting to shirk all of his responsibilities and spend all of his time researching this house and what happened there. And it's this really interesting look into their relationship and how we get both of their perspectives in here. So we're seeing the things that they both are worried about and aren't telling each other. We're seeing the way that they interact with each other, the things that they are saying and are not saying. And the house is just this third character in their relationship, and it's so good and it's so interesting, and I cannot wait to devour this weekend. So again, I will keep you guys posted on what my final thoughts were of this, but I need to wrap this up so that I can go off to the mountains with Dan. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this week. Oh, I did tell you I was gonna paint my nails. This is what they look like. They're just brown. They're just nice and brown. That's what I did. I had such a lovely week with you all. I would love to know what you guys have been reading recently. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know if I've convinced you to read the Saint of Steel series. I really want more people to read Paladin's Grace. I really want more people to read it. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye.